everyone, welcome back for another video. My name is Tanya for those of you that are new here, and I am a watercolor artist and a furniture flipper, so I will be showing you both types of tutorials on this channel. But today I thought I would show you how to paint marigolds. I was walking out in my garden and I was looking at my flowers, and the marigolds are just so big and beautiful. So I wanted to paint them for you. So I hope you enjoy the video. So I was out in my garden and I have a ton of marigolds growing, and I have a couple different kinds growing. One is completely orange and one's got kind of this reddish burgundy color growing on the petals, and it's got kind of an outline of the orange on the petals. So I'm going to be doing both of these for you today. And I've got my Arches watercolor paper, my Winsor Newton watercolors, and my Grumbacher Paint Brush, a size 10. And of course, 2 clean cups of water, one for cool colors and one for warm colors. Okay, so we're gonna start with the orange marigold first. And to me, it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's got 5 petals on the outside, actually 6. It's got 6 petals on the outside and then a little cluster of smaller petals on the inside. So I'm gonna take and make a little mixture here. And I think I'm going to be pulling in my lemon yellow and also my, I believe this is cad red, and it's going to make this kind of really pretty marigold orange color like that. Okay, so I said it has the 6 petals on the outside, so we're going to go ahead and do the outside petals first. And the petals are not exactly perfectly round. They're very tattered on the edges, so you can have a really shaky hand about this if you want. And they're not perfectly circle or smooth, so it's kind, I don't know, it's kind of in between a circle and a square. It's kind of like a rounded square, actually. So we're gonna go ahead and fill in our petals. And again, these are the outside petals, so we're gonna do those first. And you can make your flowers as large as you want. I'm just gonna kind of keep it small today for the video. And it's actually best if you don't make your petals exactly the same shape and make them a little bit, like I said, a little bit of a shaky hand motion, because then the more realistic it looks. Okay, so that's 5, and let's put one more. And they're not equally spread apart either. Like these 2 are closer together and these 2 are way further apart. So it doesn't really matter. The placement doesn't have to be exact. And what I'm doing now is I'm just kind of going from the outside of the petal and pushing my paint more towards the center. I want the center to be a little bit darker. So I'm just going from the outside petal and I'm pushing it in. I think I'm gonna make my petals a little bit larger. And then if you wanna get that even lighter, just take a clean brush and just kind of go over it and see how it's lightening them up a little bit. You're taking off some of the paint with a clean brush and just dabbing it off on your paper towel. We're gonna let that one dry before we come in and do the center. So we're gonna go ahead and do another one. So I'm taking the same mixture. And right now I'm working on a wet on dry. I did not wet my paper first. It gives you a little bit more control over your paint. But if you like a looser painting, definitely go ahead and wet your page first. And then you can try and do your marigolds on there. But I like a little bit more of a controlled painting. And let's go ahead and put another one right over here. Like I said, they don't have to be exactly spaced equally because the actual flower is not either. And then here again, I'm going to pull off some of that paint, dragging my brush inward towards the center. Okay. And I'm gonna go ahead and do another one. This one's gonna be the red flower, but I am gonna start with orange because, let me grab that flower again, because it actually has orange on the rims. So we're gonna go ahead and do the orange first. Put these here. That way I can see them a little better. There. So before this one dries, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and drop in a little bit red. I'm going to make kind of a reddish, let's see, what color is this? If you're following along with me, let me see what this is. This is alizarin crimson. So I'm using that right now for the center of the flower. So I'm going to start from the inside of the flower and I'm going to work my way out and leave a little bit of a crisp orange edge. You want your flower a little damp at this point, so it bleeds nicely into the petal. And you can leave it just like that. You can dab a little bit more if you want it a little bit darker. And I'm just going to let it do its thing. If you want to help it along and push it a little bit, you can push your paint closer to the edges, but I'm just going to let it dry and do its thing. Okay, so this one is pretty much dry, so we're going to go ahead and do our next layer. And I ran out of paint here, so I am going to mix my lemon, my Winsor lemon, and my cad red and get that orange back. All right. So we're gonna go ahead and make the inside clusters here. And let's see, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 clusters, and then some smaller ones in the middle. So it doesn't have to be exact. And my flower wasn't completely dry, so it is bleeding into the other petals a little bit. I probably should have let it dry a little bit longer, but that's okay. It's fine. It's going to just bleed into the other petals. No big deal. But I am going to go ahead and dry this one first and show you the difference. So now it's really dry. Now it's drier than that one was when I did the second layer. So we're going to make our little middle of the flower here. And it's kind of got like these little, I don't know, a lot of texture in there. So we're just going to leave some of that lighter orange showing, and then we're going to make some of our outside petals. And it's pretty much the same shape, just smaller. Now these are going to appear darker because it's actually a second layer. And I'm not going to go over the first layer, so those will still look that light. If you wanted to make them a little darker, you can. And again, not perfect petals, kind of tattered looking. And you can make them as big as you want, but just obviously not bigger than the first row of petals. pretty. Okay, what I'm going to do now is I am going to come in and deepen up some of the oranges on this one. There. So I'm going to do a couple different variations of the marigold for you. I'm going to go ahead and deepen up my red on this one. And I'm not going to bring it all the way out because I like that variation it's got now from the dark to the light. So I'm going to leave some of that lighter red showing. That's pretty. All right, and then go ahead and let these dry. I'm just gonna blow dry it right now because of the video. I want it to go a little bit faster. Okay, there's still a little damp, but that's okay. I think we can go on to the next step. So I'm gonna pull in my orange again. And I'm gonna do more of that cluster in the middle here. And I'm just pouncing my brush. I'm still using my size 10, and I'm just pouncing it to do the centers. And you want to leave a little bit of that lighter orange showing. And then even on the red flower, it's got the orange center. And if you want to do a little bit more yellow so that it shows up a little more, you could just add a little bit more yellow to it. There. If you want to add a little bit of orange, let's say the outside of your flower is still looking a little pale, you can always go over just the edges of your petals with a little bit more orange. Just follow along with the outline of your petal. You could add a little bit more orange if you want. There. All right. And at this point, if you want to add a little bit of like a brown or even a Payne's gray to your orange mixture, that's what I'm going to do here. Just to deepen up the middle a little bit more. Just to deepen up that middle a little bit more, because there's a lot of shadows going on in there. And then even on the red one, you could do that. All right, so while I let those dry, I'm going to show you how to do the leaf. So let's grab one here. All right, so the leaf is kind of spiky. So it's like a line that comes all the way up, and then it's got the point of the, actually this leaf is prettier. Let's do this one. So as you can see, the leaf has got a point right here, and then it comes off, and they're even. So wherever this leaf is, this leaf is, this leaf is, this leaf is, and so on. And they've got little spikes on them. So, and they're almost like a teardrop shape, like a long teardrop shape, but then with the spikes. So I'm going to pull in some sap green. And let's just do a petal on this one. So you could start with your stem. Actually, I'm just going to pull the leaf right off that flower so you can see. Okay, so I'll lay it right there. So you're going to start with your little stem, and then you're going to branch off for the middle part here of the leaf, and then the end has got that teardrop, but like a long teardrop. and then it's got little spikes on it. You can move to a smaller brush if you want to at this point. I'm just gonna stick with my size 10. And then it's got another one here, and wherever it's got one, it's got the other one exactly on the other side. So make your little teardrop, and then little spikes coming off it. And you definitely don't want it to be perfect, because like I said, the more unperfect it looks, if that's a word, I don't even know, but the more unperfect it looks, the more realistic it looks. Actually, I think the word is imperfect. Oops. All right, so then you make your little teardrop, and then you start putting those little spikes on there. So again, on one side and then the other side. So make your little teardrop, and then you can start adding little spikes. And I'm going to add just a little bit of yellow to it, just to see what it does. Just a little yellow here and there. So it's just going to give it a little bit more of a limey color. And it's nice when you have some variation in there, so some darker greens, some lighter greens. It's just nice when you have that kind of play. And then I'm going to make another leaf on the other side, so it'll look like that. So again, I'm going to start with that main little vein there, and then I'm going to start doing all the little leaves off it. So I'm going to start with my first one, make that little teardrop. Make it jaggedy. And then you can do your other one. So that's 2 leaves. So let's go ahead and put some stems on the other flowers too. Okay, so I let everything dry and I painted a few more leaves here. So now, let's see, let's go ahead and look at our flower. And I think I'm gonna deepen up this flower a little bit here. So I'm going to take my lemon and my red. Okay. And just a really light wash. And I think I'm just going to deepen up the back petals. There. It just needed a little bit more, need to be a little bit more vibrant. All right, so I'm gonna add a little bit more red to this one, just to deepen it up also, because here is my red flower. and it's definitely deeper. There we go. There, that's more of the red. All right, so what did I just add? Let's see. I added my purple lake, and I added a bit of this one. What is that? That's my burnt sienna. All right, so I added a little bit of purple lake and burnt sienna to my red to achieve this color. There we go. So then I'm going to go ahead and put in a few more shadows on this orange one. And I'm going to take my Payne's gray and orange mixture. Just make kind of like a darker orange, almost like a brown. And I'm just going to start shadowing in like behind one petal. It's got a couple little lines coming out. Okay, and I'm going to do the same thing to this one. There. Pretty. All right, then I'm going to soak up some of my orange or red so my orange still shows on the outside. The petals. Okay, sorry about that. Someone came to the door and my dogs went nuts. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add the orange center to the red ones. So if you had put a little bit too much dark red here, just take a little bit of your water and you could just lift up just by taking clean water and dabbing it off. Your red will lift up nicely. You're not going to go all the way back down to the white paper, but it will lift up your red and at least make it nice and light. Okay, so now I'm going to take my orange and I'm going to start doing my center a little bit. And if you don't think that that is showing up enough, just add some more yellow to it. And lighten it up even more. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and dry that, and then we're gonna go ahead and put some detail in the middle of it. You can pull that out a little bit. I need a little more of my cad red there. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and dry that real quick. I'm gonna add a little bit of brown in the center. Actually, they all have a little bit of that brown right in the center there. Just dab it a little bit. Okay. I'm going to take my orange again because I really wanted more of that orange to show. So I am going to go and just bring in more orange. And if you want to deepen up your red again, you can. And you can just keep playing with this all day. Sometimes you just have to know when to stop. And that's my problem. I just don't know when to stop sometimes. All right, that's really pretty. A little more yellow around here. So there you go, 2 different variations of the marigold that I picked in my garden, the orange and the red. Thanks so much for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it and learned a little something. And if you did, please give me a thumbs up and consider subscribing to this channel for more videos like this one. And you can also follow me on Facebook and Instagram. Have a great day. Bye.